So good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this webinar. I'm hoping that everyone is going to participate because it's exactly what it says there, which is sharing ideas and helping each other. Now, the one thing Lynn was going to do was recognition. However, I don't know what everyone's levels are. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, if you're on tonight, could you recognise yourself?
Yeah, I'm me.
And please remember that I'm recording this.
Indeed.
So there you are. There's your wee screen. Thanks for being awesome. And I know that Lynn would echo that 20 times over and probably have a much better screen. But nevertheless, so since me was so clever, does me want to start off the recognition then, Jeff and Jenny?
Yes, it does. Last month, for May, we retailed £50 short of 500, which is what our normal has been. So we're Viva Stars. But
excellent.
But because we're moving next week, and this kind of month is going to be a bit tricky, we've been round our customer base and we've already put in £547 of orders this month already.
Well done. That's excellent.
Thank you.
Now, who wants 10 Jeff and Jennies in their business? All of us, I think, is the answer. Exactly. Right, next. Now, right.
Should we go alphabetically?
Sorry, who was that?
That Jackie, should we go alphabetically?
There you go. Oh, that's maybe too difficult for me, Jackie, but yes, you go next.
Okay, I'll go next, fine. Steve and Jackie, we managed to achieve star 1000 in May.
Oh, well done. Well done. That's excellent. Well done.
Thank you.
Oh, F. That's you, isn't it, Kate? I had to really think about this.
You're asking Jane to use her brain in a totally different way tonight, Jackie. Yep, Kate and Tom, we retailed just short of £1,000 in May, and we achieved star 2000 in May.
Excellent, well done.
Not far short of Premier, but star 2000.
Well done. And you see, it's not quite working out because we've got a second screen. And there's an A and a B on the second screen here. James, do you want to speak? I think that's a slight shake of the head and no, he doesn't. I think James just missed out on star 300 this period. I think he did, although he did achieve it last period. Robert, can you hear me? No. Okay. So, Louise, it's you.
I got star 1000 last month.
Well done.
Okay.
And I know that was for the first time, wasn't it, Louise? Was it? No, it wasn't for the first time. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Well done. Excellent. Mary, do you want to speak? No. Okay. Has anybody else missed out?
You, Jane?
Just me. Okay. Jim and I got star 2000 together with our team. We retailed 600 and something pounds, 614, I think it was, in the month. Thank you. So the next thing that Lynn asked to do was, and I put this up because really this is what it's all about. It's all about teamwork, and not just our own teams, but all the teams, us all together. I think, particularly when it's such a brand new venture, it's a name that's not recognised, and I think we'll all agree we've got plenty of products. The prices of the products are a good, well spread price of product. Now all we need is to get the brand recognition to where it needs to be to give us what we're looking for. And I think, and I know that other people do too, that if we all pool our resources, then there will be the growth that we're all looking for. And ultimately, we'll get what it says here, which is the success that we're all looking for too. But before we go there, we're looking for ideas, and we're going to brainstorm. And we're going back to the money spider that Ali and Jeff so very well showed us last week. And what I'd like us to do, or for you to do, sorry, I should really change that, for you to do, is to put forward suggestions about maybe what to say, how to approach, what you think, and what you've done, what works for you. So I don't mind, one at a time, maybe even one idea at a time, so that everybody gets a chance to put their tuppence worth in, if that suits. Thank you, Jeff.
While I was tidying up, you know how you have to go through lots of bits of paper when you're packing? I found this. I don't know if you can read it, but it says the buyer buys the seller, not the salt.
Uh-huh.
And what's really important about our retailing is it's not our products, it's not the price, it's us. As most of you know, we're just going around our customer base for the last time, and we've had such lovely cards, and people have come out and shook us by the hand and said, thank you very much for your service. So one of the things that underlines all of these is actually building that relationship. It's very much a people business, and it's the relationships we make with our customers that actually give us the ability to do all these things.
Thank you, Jeff. I'll ask you one more thing then.
Yes.
A new person starting off, what's your tip then? How did you start that relationship with those customers?
Well, I'm always friendly and helpful. And if they've ever got a problem, I say, oh, no, that's not a problem. Can I return something? Of course you can. Would you like a replacement? So we're always friendly, but we always listen. It's something that I've learned from Jenny, because you may have noticed I'm something of a talker. I've learned to be a listener, though. And quite often our customers, particularly the older ones, you're the only person they see during the week. So you have to stay and listen and be patient. I can see Kate nodding there, but Jenny is absolutely great at this, that she'll be in a house for hours and hours. And eventually I'll have to phone and say, that person's delivery's come, she's come home now. Some of the customers rumbled, but one of our customers took us out for a meal and said, you know, she thanked me for being so patient with Jenny when she was just talking. But so often, we're going to lonely people who just want to talk to someone. And that's one of the biggest advantages that we have in door-to-door direct sales, that we can actually build up that relationship and listen to people. And we're looking forward to doing that, building up a customer base in Hull.
Excellent. That is an excellent tip. To be a listener, to be pleasant, polite, helpful, and smiley. Good. It's a really good tip. It's a great tip for life, never mind just what we do.
Indeed.
Who else wants to pop in there then and give us a wee tip for what they would suggest? Something on that, or it doesn't need to be on the Money Spider. It just needs to be something on that expands. What can we do? I know you've all built very good customer bases. Louise, I'm going to ask you a wee question because you do more online, I think, than anyone else on this evening. To build that relationship online, how did you approach that?
Just well, just I think just being authentic, just being myself, just my group isn't too business-like, it's not too over-friendly either, I wouldn't say. It's just very kind of, I post products and stuff, but I post interaction posts sometimes, but I also post like, I used to share actually a lot of recipe posts sometimes, and they used to actually get more hits than the interaction kind of posts, because I'd post something like, oh, this looks yummy, I'll need to try this, and things like that, and that seemed to appeal to people a wee bit more because they would tag people in it as well, like, oh, yeah. So you'll like this kind of thing. And I think just being friendly, as Jeff's saying, but when you're speaking to people online as well, be a messenger when you take it to Messenger to sort of get their details and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And never use text speak either in Messenger. Even if they use it to me, I just never use it back. I don't personally like it, I think, for when you're running a business kind of thing, because it's not your pal down the road, do you know what I mean? It's it's a customer. So just always, and just being polite and always keeping them up to date as well. Like if I'm running late with deliveries, or if I'm gonna have to change a delivery day or whatever, just letting them know in advance and stuff. So I think it's just that whole being yourself and just being approachable as well, saying to them, just, or even a post in your group saying, if anybody's looking for anything in particular, just let me know. I've got quite a lot at my fingertips, kind of thing, because you can't show them everything.
No.
Right off,
No. No, that's great. Thanks, Louise, for that. Because I think a lot of us, whilst we know often what to do on a face-to-face, it can be a wee bit more confusing for us online how to do it.
Yeah.
Who else wants to jump in here before I start asking? I know that one pressed. What is it? One volunteer is better than a pressed man. Something along those lines, but I'll press you anyway. I don't mind. Who's going to jump in? Jackie.
And she's very, very good at letting her customers on the group know. A lot of her customers will feel like her friends because she posts on her group about what she's doing on a daily basis as well. And it's not all about what she's selling, it's more about what she's doing as well. So I love watching Mary's group. It's great.
So you using your own family life or your own life in your group. So not just, so involving them in what's happening. Yes, okay. Yeah, yep. That makes sense. Right, Jackie.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the spider actually, Jane, and just having a quick look there. I mean, I'm doing some blanket dropping at the moment, just the company survey really, and I'm just getting, I've just done today the first of the last week. We've got to do it for 5 weeks. So I have been keeping records, obviously, because I need to send the spreadsheet in on a weekly basis to the company. And I was quite surprised actually, not so much the amount of orders I've got, but and obviously new customers with that, but the fact that half of the people are actually opening the packs already. As many as I'm dropping, I'm getting back about half, which is actually opened and looked at, which I was quite pleased and surprised at, actually. But my next thing, obviously, on my second time round with them, is to try and entice them to open the packs. This is my challenge for the next few weeks, really, is to get more and more people actually opening the packs. So the blanket dropping at the moment, I can't give too many success tips on that, really. Just be, I think, really, really persistent with it and keep really, really good records. This is what I try to emphasise to all newbies, is to really, really keep good records, because it's quite easy to lose your way with it and not mark your book or what have you, because you think you're being slick and quick. But I've found, I'll know the numbers, and I did it on the first time round, you know, a few of the numbers, and I lost my way, and I thought, no, I've got to really be very, very precise with it. So I think that's my tip really to newbies, is keep really, really good records when you're first starting. And I mean, obviously today has been a really pants day. I mean, I was soaked right the way through to my underpants, as they say. So I know I'm a true distributor. And that's the thing, really. Everything was getting wet. So I was paranoid, not so much about me getting wet, but paranoid about keeping everything dry and my records dry. So I made sure that I kept my book dry, you know, in plastic bag. I don't use a wet book, funnily enough, but I do actually put it inside a plastic bag and that kind of thing. So keeping good records, you know, that to me is so important, because it's nothing worse than going back and you're trying to find books where you haven't marked them, and you know, it's an absolute nightmare. So really, really be on top with that record keeping.
And do you have any suggestions that you've maybe used in the past for enticing people to open the catalogues?
Well, this is the thing, offering the sample at the moment, which we've done to our customer base, has really helped with the samples of the skincare, and that has really helped to bury it inside. So I'm going to be doing that on the blanket drop. I'm going to be going round on my second drop to them, obviously starting from next week. So I've already wheedled out the ones that I haven't actually got back, so those next ones are going to have a sample in them, but only the ones I haven't struggled to get back, and also the ones that have actually looked at the packs first of all.
Oh, sorry, I was going to ask though, are you putting a slip in letting them know that there's a free sample in the catalogue for them?
That's exactly what we're going to do. We've done it with our customer base, and now I'm going to do this with the blanket drop as well. Just a day glow slip there, just to say, you know, sample inside, and bury it in there, just to give them a little bit of a teaser to open the pack up.
So you're going to put the slip on the front of the catalogue where they can see it, but the actual sample you're going to bury it inside the book. Good idea.
Definitely.
Are you going to pop it maybe at the page that the products are on, something like that? Yeah,
this is what we've been doing with the customer base, and that's working well. So I'm going to do it on the blanket drop as well.
Good.
I wouldn't ordinarily do it on that first time round, because that's obviously just you know, you're putting your toe in the door, as it were, really. But the second time round, definitely to get them to open more packs, definitely. But I'm pleased that half really have opened them already.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea. Put a sample in the pack on the front, nice and clear. Let them know that there's a sample there, but bury the sample at the page of the catalogue that the products are on, so that they will see that they can buy them. Excellent. Good. That's a good tip there. Right, Kate.
Hello. Yep, I've got a few things going down my mind now, but the first thing I would like to say is about oh, hi Cookie. Cookie's here now. Can you see him? The first thing I would like to say is about on the Spider, there's a branch that says old customer drops. Now I've been doing some blanket dropping as well, and I decided a couple of weeks ago to do a street where I previously had 2 customers, but since I've had 2 customers in this street for 15 years, But about 2 or 3 months before Clean Easy came to an end, one of the two customers in that street, who's a kind of maybe about 70, lady about 70, and she told me that she would shortly be moving down to Manchester to live near her son. So it happened with Clean Easy. We didn't have a business for a few months, and when we came back, I continued to go back to the one customer that was remaining in that street. But last week I decided I'm going up there for one customer, I might as well do the rest of the street. So blanket dropped the whole street, went to pick the catalogues up, and in this house where the lady lived, who told me she was moving, there was an order from that lady. She hasn't moved at all.
No.
£29 order. I went to deliver the order to, because there was then a period of 2 or 3 months where we weren't in that street at all, because we weren't, we didn't have a business for a while, etc. I didn't know whether our house had gone up for sale or not. But anyway, I went to deliver the order, and she said, "I can't believe you're back. Where have you been?" And she didn't know the story. She didn't know about Clean Easy. I told her all about it. She said, "I've been trying to find out where you were." She lives round the corner from me. "I've been trying to find out where you were." She said, "Because..." and I said, "Well, I didn't come back to you because I thought you were moving." And she said, my son got divorced and moved back to Scotland. And she said, I had chosen a house. I hadn't paid for it. I hadn't bought it. But I was about to move and put my own house in the market, and I didn't move. So that taught me, how many other customers have we got that we haven't been back to for any length of time? Old customer drops really are worth doing. So if you've shaved off your customer list, as everybody does over a period of time, things might have changed for them in the same way that they've changed for us. So, go back to them periodically, even just, go in the next month or two, and then, go back to them at Christmas or something like that, and revisit some of these old customers that may have stopped buying for a reason. They may have, some people are still there, some people aren't, but it's a good way to get your foot back in the door with these people as well, and just introduce your new business to them. So that's the first tip I would say. It's absolutely invaluable, just in the same way that Andy and Ram were talking about going to your existing customer base, but doing the neighbours each side and the 3 neighbours opposite and stuff like that. Anything you can do that, when customers are talking to each other, you might be going up the path to deliver their order, and their neighbours in their garden, they see you going up the path and they go, "Oh, Mrs. Jones is out just now." But they've noticed, they obviously speak to Mrs. Jones, why not give them a catalogue as well? Because word of mouth is a great enhancer for your business. So
that's right too. Excellent, Kate. That's another way that we can move on, because really, I think, as I was saying earlier, it's the brand recognition. We've really just got to maybe start working a wee bit harder. Now, we always had rods in the pond.
Yep.
For bringing people into the business. All we need now is rods in the pond for a retail. That's all. And once we get our head around this and get it all sorted, then it'll become a matter of course, just the same as every other way. I would say though, always remember, when a new thing comes on board, sometimes people say or suggest that new things are coming on board, let's move on. The old things still work. So do the new things, but don't forget the old methods either. I saw something quite recently that suggested that there's a new way to do everything, but I think we've seen before in the past that the old ways work. So don't throw the bathwater out.
Look at vinyl records are back now in a big way.
That's true. That is true, yes. Most of us don't have record players, so we've got to do that. Mary, you had a lot of success online, and I know you catalogue as well. Is there any tips you want to add to? Thank you, you took yourself off mute, I didn't need to. Is there some tips that you would like to add? Just round about what people could do just to get this wee extra push.
Well, no, not really. But what I normally end up selling my customer stuff for them.
All right. Well, I suppose it's customer service.
Yeah, mine goes the other way. But no, it's what everybody else says. You know what I mean? You've just got to keep on going all the time.
Yes.
And yeah, when people move and they've got stuff to sell, it's normally me that sells it for them. But hey ho, it always helps them, helps me.
As long as they don't move too far away, at least they'll be grateful enough that they'll probably keep you as a distributor.
Oh, they're still in the area, so it's fine.
Oh, well, that's not quite so bad. Well, that's just taking what Jeff was talking about, just a wee bit further in a different way. That's what that's doing. Nuala's not on camera, so I don't know if she'll talk to me. James, do you want to contribute any tips that you might you've found from your customer base? No. James hates speaking when there's more than one person on the videos, but I don't like to miss him out either. So, friends and family packs. Let's go. I mean, what would you say? You know, how, if we've been doing this for a while, how will you reintroduce this? I mean, do we do friends and family packs? Are you keen on doing it? Or is that a no-no for you?
We used to have a customer years ago in Clean Easy who actually asked us if we would give her a few extra catalogues because she ran a local housing association as a volunteer and stuff like that. She was always having people coming in and out, and we just gave her a bit of a discount because she would phone us up and give us a 50, 60, £100 order, and we gave her a little bit of a discount on the whole lot because she took the whole lot and paid us for it and gave it to her friends and family and stuff like that. She actively asked us for that, and she did that for years. So, but I mean, you will have customers that you would never dream of asking them that because they maybe don't know a lot of people, but you might also have people you can say, do you still work in Asda? Would you take a catalogue into the canteen for me?
Again, that comes back to knowing your customer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I've got 3 customers that work in Morrison's round the corner from me, and they recommend different, they always want their product delivered to the checkout. They say, I'll leave the money at customer services, just bring it in the shop. So you walk in the shop with whatever you've got for them, and they all see you coming in with it, and they all want to know. So they're all going to look at it in the canteen, and then the next thing you get a phone call saying, can you get me what Jackie's got? So there are people that know lots and lots of people, and you could ask selected customers, or you could put a flyer in your catalogue and say, would you like to, earn yourself a free gift or something like that. We're looking for.
We could do that, Kate. That's right.
Yeah.
Again,
and it's entirely up to you as well whether you want to personally deliver all the goods to those extra customers, start conversations with them, maybe introduce them to your business or introduce them to your online group, or if you want your existing customer just to pay you, just say, I'll have all the stuff for you on Friday, and they can gather in the money when they're gathering in the orders. It's up to you whether you do that as well, because it's your business.
That's good. That's another good tip, not one that you would always, again, though, it comes back to knowing your customers.
Yep.
And to do that, you've got to speak to them. The one that Jim was probably better at than I was going into hairdressers, laundrettes. I know there's not loads of them in the shops there's pardon me, loads of hairdressers, but there's not loads of laundrettes. But hairdressers, laundrettes, even if there's only 2 or 3 staff.
Yep.
I found newsagents didn't always work for me, because often if it was the owner it was in, they wanted you to tell them all about the business. They weren't really interested, but they were having a quiet moment, so they wanted to talk to you. So you felt obliged to do it. But, how do you feel about going into a shop with a catalogue, letting them know that you will collect it maybe a week later instead of just 2 days? Maybe at first you still need to go for the short time.
My hairdresser used to take a front cover Clean Easy product from me every year and keep it. He worked from home, and he used to keep it. He had a little bit of his. He had a conservatory that he was using to cut hair in, and he would say to me, you know, whatever it is you've got this year, just bring me one down. And it was usually with like the dancing snowmen and stuff like that. And he would just have it sitting on his shelf. And, you know, I don't think he even ever sold one. I mean, he gave me orders for loads, but I don't think he ever actually held them up and said, look at this, Kate left me this. But the customers would all go, oh, what's that, Billy? You know, and he would show them it. And it would be a singing snowman or something visual that lit up or made a noise or something. And then he would text me and he'd go, I know you're coming up next Friday. Can you bring me 17 snowmen? And he would have all the money there for me. So, you know, so if you're lucky and you know somebody that does that job, I know mobile hairdressers as well, that, you know, there's no reason why not. And we were going to a meeting in Birmingham or somewhere once, and we were going, it was either the A66 or the A69 past the place. It's got the big, the gypsum works, you know, with all the big chimneys and stuff. And we stopped for lunch at the pub in that village, and on the counter in the pub there was a Clean Easy Christmas catalogue and a front cover product on the counter with a wee pile of order forms, and people had been filling in their orders, and it was obviously either the people that were in Easy or one of their customers was, and that was it in action. It hadn't been us that had done it, but that was it in action. And, you know, that anybody could have gone in and seen that and just thought, oh right, I'll put an order in for that as well. So it's opportunities are everywhere.
Well, that's right. What I was thinking as well when Kate was having a chat there was, for example, if you're going into places that you use, if you're a customer of theirs, then why not ask them to reciprocate?
Yeah.
You know, if you're a regular at a butcher's or a vegetable, a greengrocer's, maybe even in, for example, I know the lady who works in the local farm foods. Now, there's only maybe 3 or 4 people. She's not my customer. I don't go to her house, but I do know her. So maybe if I keep her in it, and I'm not in farm foods terribly often, I have to say. I like the packs of ice lollies and the biscuits. But, you know, how would you feel about if you go to a particular hairdresser, as I say, butcher, the baker, the local farm foods, the Asda store, the Tesco store? You know, if you're their customer and you're helping to keep those people in a job, then do you feel that there's anything wrong with suggesting that they have a look at your catalogue so that it keeps you in business? You know, it's a different way of looking at the same coin. So, hi Jeff, you're going to unmute yourself. Unmute.
There you go. Yeah. Janet and Steve, Jenny and I went to a Moroccan restaurant in Hull, got very chatty with the owner, and I've left him some products to look at. When we go back up next week, we're going to do exactly what you said. We're customers of his, and he was very helpful. So I've left him about half a dozen products for them to try. And we'll go back and then we'll see. He's been in business 18 years. In the street where he is, there's 30 or 40 different restaurants. So if I can get him recommending our products, then he'll tell everybody else.
Yeah, excellent. Good idea. Yes, that's a good idea. There'll be local takeaways, even if you're not people who go and sit in a restaurant. If you use local takeaways, and you know, that's another alternative. It's just trying to think outside the easy box that we had before.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And it's just getting a mindset just that wee bit different.
Yeah. If you go to an independent restaurant, they'll obviously come over and talk to you, and often the owner is there and he wants to talk about his business. And then, you know, he's very good at building rapport, because that's how he gets repeat custom. And we can learn a lot from them.
Yes, we can. You're quite right. I think as well, though, they can learn a lot from us. And,
Indeed.
you know, same with the banks. Now, banks are disappearing. I don't know about anybody else, but very few local branches are left. Certainly in Scotland, I can't speak for England, but certainly in Scotland, the local branches are one by one being shut down. However, they've been talking about that for 20 years because a branch that really is a cash, takes in cash, costs money, it doesn't make money. So it was always going to happen. However, I do feel that they lost a big trick doing that as well. But if you still have local branches, then, you know, you're keeping them in a job. Similarly, if you have people, the post offices now are much busier than they used to be in the villages.
They're having to keep longer hours as well.
That's right too, Kate.
Yep.
So yes, things like that. Go for it, Jackie.
Just thought, Jane, talking of post offices, in the next village to us, a little post office is a jack of all trades as well. I mean, it's like a little haven in there of goodies. And last week we left the spring cleaning kits with the chap, and Steve was chatting to him to say that, you know, we can actually get these in bulk if he was interested. And looking at the markup, I mean, my father-in-law, bless him, he's got dementia, and we trot him in there for his pension and that, and he's buying boxes of Ferrero Rochers in there for nearly a tenner. And I'm thinking the markup on that. So of course, this spring cleaning kit is an ideal opportunity for him. But we're going back tomorrow to actually follow up on that.
That's good. You can let us know then, Jackie.
Yeah, whether he's interested in actually taking some packs and obviously forwarding them onto his customers as well.
Yeah, a lot of shops as well. And remember, this is something that we used to think about when we were looking at people to introduce to the business. You go into a lot of shops, and if you have a look at that shop, often their shelves are not as full as they used to be, because shops cost a lot of money in stock. And the majority of those small shopkeepers use cash and carries, where you don't get split boxes. You have to buy a box. So therefore, what they do is reduce the ranges so that they have a particular amount of stock on a shelf. Just think if we had, for example, only given them the original Essentials catalogue. In this, there's what, 60 products or something along those lines. They've immediately got another 60 products to sell to their customers that they didn't have before. And we know they work. Why do we know they work? Because we should be using our own products for personal use. Always remember, and this is going back to the very early days of the catalogue side of the previous business, where someone had gone into someone's house, and I genuinely can't remember who it was, gone into their cupboard and pulled out the bottles that were not that brand name. Now, we really don't need anything that's not Viva brands in our cupboards, because there's at least 2 of everything you can use to clean your windows, clean your floors. You know, there's loads of stuff here. Mold, I mean, how many things do we want to take mold off? We've got 2 that work very well. All you have to decide is, do you want to spray it or do you want to paint it? You know, so maybe we should go into our cupboard before we go for our next shop, decide what we need and then buy it. And we know they work, but we know that they'll work. We know that more of them work if we use them. And on that note, I bought the shoe stretcher last week because I've got sore feet. I've always got sore feet. But I had sorer feet than usual because I've got an allergy to silicone. And I was using a small silicone in between toe pad, which then became dislodged, went to the top of my foot. I ended up with great big blisters and a lot of peeling skin in between my toes. My feet couldn't get into a shoe. So I thought, well, we haven't got any shoe stretchers in the catalogue, but we've got a shoe stretcher spray. And it was only when I got it that I realised that you were supposed to spray the shoe inside and outside and then put the stretchers on it overnight. Well, I didn't have any stretchers, but I did have feet and I was going out. So I sprayed it inside, I sprayed it outside, I put my feet in, and you know something? It works. My shoes didn't pinch my toes. And I was walking around one of the towns for about 4 or 5 hours without moaning, whining, or wanting to hit Jim because I was sore. So the shoe stretcher works. It really, it does. And use your feet as the stretcher. There you go. Any more product recommend? I don't know what time it is. Oops, it's 9:45. Oops. Sorry about that. I didn't keep an eye on things. Does anybody want to finish off with a product recommendation?
The sea kelp body wash. Well, the whole range actually, but the body wash in particular, because that was the first one I tried.
Uh-huh.
And I've had really bad psoriasis on my hands for 2 years, and I've had just steroid creams just thrown at me left, right and centre for the GP, and none of them have worked. And I've tried numerous creams. I mean, I must have spent an absolute fortune over the years, and I'd find something that would work initially. It would give me enough sort of moisture initially, and then after a week to 2 weeks, my hand would just be like, you know, I didn't like this anymore, and it would just keep flaring up again. And I noticed, I particularly noticed that a lot of shampoos would make my hands sting and nip, and obviously I'm like wash my hair every day and stuff, and I found shower gels were worse than shower creams and whatever. So I decided I would try the body wash when it came into the book, and I never really gave it much more thought. And then after about 2 weeks, I realised that my hands weren't as itchy and weren't looking as red. And after a month, they had cleared up completely.
Gosh.
I really do mean completely. I mean, I've put the before and after photos in my group. I mean, Kate will have seen them, and they're just amazing, the difference. And now, 8 weeks down the line, and the tube finished, and I didn't have any for 3 days till my next order came. So I was very careful in using a wee squirt of other stuff that my daughter's got, but it hasn't flared up again. I mean, I know you'll not see it very well in here, but my hands just like...
They look like hands.
You know, it's just been amazing.
That's excellent, Louise. I'm really pleased for you as well, I have to say, because there's nothing worse if you've got so. So that's an excellent recommendation as well for another product. So yes, there's lots of things that we can recommend. You know, all we have to do, as I say, is just give it a wee bit of thought, and let's use those brainstorming. Maybe even, you know, on the A-Team Rhino as well, if you think of stuff, put it on the group. Do you all have your own Facebook groups for your own team? Because, you know, Lynn's big group's great, but sometimes you can miss it if it's on Lynn's group because there's maybe a lot of posts. Whereas if you copy it and put it on your group too, you make sure that the people who, you know, maybe aren't just as active as yourselves in the business, then they see it. People see it because there's maybe not as much activity on yours. So that's something else that you can think of as well. So thank you very much, everybody, and I'm sorry that I've run over. My apologies. But you were all contributing, so it's really everybody's fault. Anyway, thank you very much. Oh, I've got one more slide. There we are. Now, just because it's a Scottish team sizzle doesn't mean that anyone who lives further away isn't allowed to come. Of course you can, but it is a team sizzle. I don't know where we're going to have it. I think Lynn's looking for suggestions on venues.
Yes.
I'll tell you, forget it. That was non-negotiable, wasn't it? Sorry, Jeff.
Northumberland then.
Northumberland. Did somebody say Northumberland?
Yeah, me.
Now, why are you in Northumberland?
I'll be babysitting.
Oh, you're in Northumberland then. I was going to say, but you don't live in Northumberland.
No. That's my weekend babysitting, unfortunately.
Oh, that's a shame, Mary. Is that not quite close to Hull, Northumberland?
No.
Is it not?
No. Other side of the country.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Geography's not so hot, obviously. Never mind. It was worth a try.
Yeah.
Yes, we are looking for venues. It will be, well, it depends on the venue, how long it will be.
Yeah.
I did say to Lynn, everybody was welcome to use our house again. However, oh, Kate doesn't mind travelling down here. It's not that far for Kate anyway, to be quite honest. But you are welcome. The only thing was, I wondered if it was maybe too far out for some people, but you know, it's we can discuss it and we can see what people want to do, and if there's better suggestions or other suggestions, then we'll have a chat about that too. All right.
Okay.
So have a good rest of the week. I hope your packing goes really well.
Thank you.
I hope your pick up from your person you pick at your shop goes well tomorrow, Jackie.
Thank you.
And I hope everybody else has a good rest of the week, and we'll talk to you all soon. And thanks very much for joining me.
Thank you, Jane.
Thanks,
Jane.
Jane. Everybody, thank you.
Bye.
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 I'll need to stop the recording.